right, there we go. I just this opened with like a notice, and so I had to read it real quick. Apparently, they've uh, given more power to the managing moderators today on YouTube. Interesting, right? I bet managing moderators have a little bit more spam control. That would be my imagination, right? Because I think there's probably a whole lot. Uh, like you can't really tell, but a different method of censorship is in effect to get, the liberals censored, right? And I don't mean like populist liberals. I'm talking about the extreme left and the extreme right, right? The ones that are very, very hard in their positions. And now we have, channels for them that have a place for the more extreme side of things, right? TikTok is one for the liberals. It's really much more of a liberalized thing, just like Rumble is much more of a conservatized thing, right? And people kind of like the independent kind of company from like a trustable nation, um, where there's a little bit of a rapport with the president of the company and things like that. Oh, you did? Nick, I'm really disappointed in you. Ugh. Don't, like, you've been listening? Don't brag about voting here, bro. That hurts. That hurts. That hurts a little bit. You should not be proud of that. I don't know why you did that. You just took a vow against my rights because there are no candidates that I support. Therefore, you just threatened me. Dude, don't do that. I'm not actually changing my whatever with you, but you gotta understand spiritually what you're doing there, what you just did. Right? It's not funny. It's not funny, man. It's not fucking funny at all. Do you not listen to anybody in the One Great Work Network? Do you not listen to, anybody in any of the circles that I have been through? Right? There was a point where I stopped associating with people that had, Trump supportive affiliation. I barely can look at a goddamn Ron Paul guy anymore, right? You voted for Lucifer. It was seriously on the ballot. No, okay. You did that kind of a vote. It's look, dude, I still don't like it. What if I don't want the Luciferian principle on top? And the only Luciferian principle I even agree with is the alchemical Lucifera. Otherwise, the way that they play out Lucifer as a word, as a name in context, I think is inferior on a spiritual level to its predecessors in Prometheus, as well as any other paralleled allegory, right? I would have to make a respectful... get the foreign language out if you could, Nicholas. Thank you. I want none of that. There's no reason anybody should be speaking a language I don't speak unless they are interested in translating it because they would like me to learn it for etymological and other personally empowering reasons why one grasps language at all. So, you see, you voted for Lucifer, right? It's cute, but now you've told the state a vow of Lucifer in the context that the state, in its accord with the public agreement of the narrative contextualizes Lucifer, right? Don't throw the power in there with something that is that malleable. I mean, fuck. I mean, look at what happened to the spirit of Wotan and the Reich. This is why I think about this, right? Because I'm almost being too fucking cliche, but only because it feels good as having that, look at me, I'm like Thor, and I'm fucking earning the look at me, I'm like Thor fucking attitude. Enough of the work's been put in. The look and the style is self-evident. I measure my own change in real time, consciously. And dealing with all the human precepts about it, right? Some guys called me really like fit looking or whatever, and they looked way better than me, and they were, and I'm showing them like my belly, which you can see in the kickboxing video that I just up done. Vengeance Edits, what's up? What's going on up there? Yeah, I'm just talking about my attitude of life as an American, seeing seeing what's going on around me from those that believe that they are trying to save themselves and save me from the monster of the state through participating in the way that the state has been screwing us the whole effing time, thinking that they figured out just enough and have made the right personal selection to elect. Right? And just me watching it, and that way to be like, all right, this is the way, like, if I didn't believe in conspiracies, this is the only way as an outsider looking in that I could explain what the fuck I am looking at without saying there was an evil, manipulative, whatever, right? And that's an important element, because the evil, manipulative, whatever is exploiting ultimately what we are doing, because the most powerful thing we do is abandon power and yada, yada, yada. And it's what makes the elites completely elusive from any harm, because you can't really show that you've done harm. The only thing you can do is catch them admitting what is going on, that they have been making go on, is wrong. And then they have to prove that they didn't know that it was wrong. And of course, they have to also immediately stop and not make it resurface in another form under another name somewhere, right? And that's the only way that things get better and the elites don't get in trouble, right? Is that you force them to be unignoranted from it, because then the whole system is looking at it a certain way. This is why they need various forms of psychopaths, sociopaths, narcissists, and other kinds of victims to endorse these things, because they can go blindly into a conviction that they will forward with the excuse of their core wound that they carry as a badge of power by a world that was tricked into blaming everything on, putting everything on the great Lamb of God, right? And doing this whole thing with that, right? If you've ever seen pictures of what the Lamb of God in context actually looks like as an anthropomorphized fucking, being, it is a you know, it's a very off, weird kind of thing. And I'm not even saying that it's evil, but, you know, you living in a universe, like a Lovecraftian universe of everything that is dark and uncomfortable, and of monstrous people and monstrous behaviors that involve forcing sin upon another, or something like that. Like all these things, right? This is why Halloween is what it is, and the reason why some groups can't take the simplest of little jokes, because it's just like, because this joke knocks on the door of the depths of the horror story, and that's how much aversion of the shadow that they are in, if you see what I mean. So I have no sense of faith for any of these guys coming to wholeness, right? You know, they're waking up and healing, and they just want to heal till the end. They don't want to, you know, they're afraid of their own power because of how much they know that it works, and how much they're trying to be out of the ego and also out of will, because the God's within them, but they're still behaving existentially about it, like I cannot act unless something real deep down compels me. Listen, man, what's deep down and compelling you as such? Yes, it's part of inherent human design, but it's just your sole purpose popping up, and you can resist that, and a lot of sickness comes from resisting that. If I don't, like, I've been looking at the same end point of my endeavors, the ends that all these are a means to, my whole life. I've never changed my ends. I've only continuously changed my means. And often because I come to what I have to do to reach those ends, and these are not like any kind of ends that matter to anybody else but me and anybody that would choose to be a family maker with me. Any woman out there who would bear a child of mine. Hey, what's up, Violence? Grand Rising. Or Good Dawn. I like Good Dawn and Good Day. Sometimes I just say fucking Good Day, right? You know, it's a time where everybody will say good morning. It's like, hey, good day, right? Just like, so I say Grand Rise. Let's face it. That's a little bit too high English, right? We got to go a little bit more mid English, right? There's high speak and low speak. I talked about, right? This is like middle way, like bureaucratically fucking linguist, like, you know, within the amount of vocabulary that you hold, you know. That's how silly it is. But we are here watching this demarcation in time. You're probably asking why I fucking named it that. I've been building up to that because, you know, I'm kind of framing things around what is holding people to their beliefs, their rituals, their habits, and whatnot. And there's people that don't do ritual that need to understand that for any typical ritual to really work well, a really on-the-nose daily ritual has to be there. It can be short, but it's really something that you are stopping to do, right? I stop getting ready to go to work to breathe and stretch, even though I could theoretically just be like meandering around, breathing and stretching. But no, I take time to check in with myself when I wake up. You want to take 5 minutes to do that? You take 5 minutes. You want to take 15 minutes to half an hour like me? You take 15 to half an hour like me. Whatever amount of time you need to get from doing it not at all to doing it for anything. And then build it up to a fucking real number. Build it up to a real number that you will realize is of no consequence in the grand scheme of things, right? People haven't changed because they're hoarding time, right? They're hoarding their time to continue doing the thing that they said they wanted to do every day for the rest of their life. And sometimes life will force you out of your ability to hold that habit. There's a reason why Tolkien called them hobbits, because it's about habits. Imagine you're a youngling, not quite old enough to go to war, watching men go to war. And you're just looking at what happens when the enemy wins, a way of life being conveyed, where you're not allowed to do what you want to do every day and for the rest of your life until you die. Right? That's what the hobbits were fighting for. They were fighting for their right to go fucking live in their hole and smoke their fucking weed. Marry their kids and whatever, and zero interest in greatness, just an interest in the adventures of the great wide world. And that is the totality of a hobbit's interest in its mark, which is the totality of a person's habits, interests in the world, right? The guy who lives like a hobbit only only matters in the world when there is a crisis, when someone wiser than them shows up and convinces them that they need to rise up and do something for the greater good, right? And so when election day comes, these is our 2 and 4 year cycles of that feeling of what the wizard has asked of us to do in a little adventure, to fight the evil at the gate, to preserve a way of life, right? And so then we pretend that evil spirits have entered our friends so we can fucking fight them as a form of sympathetic magic to believe that we are fighting real evil spirits. And technology of belief says that this is effective and it works. And is needed for those who refuse to reach that level of complete emotional maturity and self-control. Guided under the foundations of natural law, naturally. Let's see what we got here. Life will test you. Right. Hey, boom. John Doe, all you guys. All right, good. Good to see you guys here. Got 8 people on the stream. Good stuff. Please like, share, subscribe. You don't really, I suppose you don't have to hit the bell notification. I don't quite put up too much super heavy duty awesome stuff, but if you really just can't get enough of these particular streams, I would say the bell notifications for you. I do these a lot, so you may not want me blowing up your phone every day with this, but I do different formats here, I have various different kinds of videos and more podcasty stuff and interviews and such, and archives of my history doing media on a few other platforms going back deep. The deepest you'll ever find me somewhere on the internet is somewhere in 2012. 2012 is when I decided to really open up my voice. Instead of just looking at stuff on the internet and talking to my friends about it and trying to figure out a certainty of what I was looking at because it was important, and it wasn't really important to anybody. It was just a crazy thing that was happening that they just had to make sure that they personally were going to be okay getting through it. Other than that, they don't really care about the details. They'll just go with whatever life says. They don't want to have an argument with all sorts of people about it. Right? And, and they don't want to build up their ability to hold the responsibility. They think it'll crush them. And, look, there's a crushing phase that does kind of happen, but half of that shit is the social isolation that comes from you being an early part of your node of influence. Breaking the barriers of that paradigm and possibly having just amount of the right particular influence to make the biggest difference. That's something that happens if you choose the hard path of staying and slowly making a place more acclimatable for you, which is kind of what the elites do, right? Because the elites, they've been doing this ever since the end of the Ice Age, and they could get out of their fucking cave up in Atlantis. And that's not including any extraterrestrial or intraterrestrial forces that may be part of the true underside of the conspiracy, right? But when you're looking at conspiracies on such a fantastic level that we believe that we're just ready to open up to other worlds that would look at us like these equals, so that way we can have this big cool Star Trekian, Star Warsian world. It's based on way too many assumptions. And then it just gets wrapped up in giving your power away, just like voting. You're just waiting for your participation in the group event. And there's nothing you can personally do to demarcate your freedom. That's the problem with Election Day. You think that your freedom is demarcated on those dates, and thus you pay attention to those dates to make sure that your future looks good for your freedoms, right? And then years and years and years of election stuff, you find out doesn't matter. There's a bigger conversation that has to bypass the noise through a long, slow, persistent, and researched campaign of showing people here are bad habits. And what is a bad habit? It's a golem. Gollum is the bad hobbit. The devolved hobbit. And so he has his things. He just wants to fish every day for the rest of his life. That's his essence. He's like a fishing spirit, right? You know, Samwise is a cooking spirit. He wants to grow and cook good food for the rest of his fucking life. Now, a guy like Frodo and a guy like Bilbo, they have, you know, they're a little bit different, and you know, perhaps world curiosity is the thing about them. I mean, maybe is world curiosity why he has the last name Baggins, because he's keeps all of his stuff in a bag because he's constantly on the go. Who else keeps all of his stuff in a bag because he's constantly on the go? The Fool card. And so he keeps all those little satisfactory things for his soul in that bag, because the Fool is the soul. Now imagine giving that bag to the ballot box every time you make your vows. You're giving them your little bag of the little things that matter to you. And it was the little things in 2020 that they took away. They took away your good habits, and you became golems. You became bad hobbits. So therefore, no, I will not vow unto the state today. These are my vows. These are the claims of who I am, what I intend to do, who I intend to be. They have nothing to do with you. We make good business. We are good gentlemen and kind unto each other, and we have about our day. And we solve each other's problems in a quick and rational way, and we call in the resources to solve those problems in a simple way. That's about it. Does that make sense? That makes sense. So I'll be prepared for war, because I know that people don't like that. As simple as that sounds, they just don't like it because they are thieves and they want my little bag. And this fool will keep his foolish little things, because it's the little things that make us happy. And that's why we got to keep a little bit of all the hobbits in our soul. All right, I'm off to work.